Hello, my name's Jean and welcome to my garden here in Edinburgh. Many people, when they move house, inherit a ready-made garden, and that can be quite a comfortable situation because you can live with it for a while and you can see what suits you and what you might want to change. When I moved into this house over 30 years ago, the garden I inherited was pretty much a wilderness. And that might have been a daunting prospect for a lot of people. But for me, it was a challenge that I really looked forward to. It was a bit of a double-edged sword because although it was the opportunity to create a garden that was just right for me, it was an enormous amount of work and certainly not something I would like to tackle again. But designing a garden from scratch isn't just about the physical back-breaking work. There's so much thinking, measuring, self-questioning, planning, drawing, before you ever get to the hard work. And that really takes a lot of time, much more than you would think. At each stage, you need to step back, have a look at what you've planned, and see if it works for you. And if it does, that's great. And if it doesn't, then now's the time to step in, make the changes, and get it just right before you move on to the next stage. It's always easier to adjust as you go, rather than plow on regardless and end up with a plan that really doesn't work for you. I'm going to take you through each of these stages now, referring at times to my own garden design processes. But be aware, there's no quick fix. It will take time, but it'll definitely be worth it in the end. And of course, what I've designed for my garden won't necessarily be anything like what you want to design for your garden. So, where on earth do you start? Well, right here. The first thing you want to do is measure the dimensions of your garden using a long measuring tape or a laser measuring device, and draw out a rough plan on paper. Include the house, the boundaries, and any existing features you want to keep. Now establish the orientation of the garden. Where does the wind usually come from, and where are the sheltered areas? If you're at work all day and look forward to a relaxing glass of wine outside when you get home, check out your garden for a spot that catches the late sun. Or if a sunny corner for your morning coffee is your preference, find where the sun will be at coffee time. And note any external views that you might wish to screen, for example buildings. Add these to your plan. Decide what you want from your garden. Is it mostly a place to relax? Or is it somewhere for the kids to play? Or perhaps you're interested in growing your own fruit and veg. Your garden will have private, public and surface areas, and the relative size of each will depend on your personal preferences. The priority for me was to have a relatively private place which was attractive to look at from both the house and the seating areas around the garden. I do also grow some fruit and vegetables, but this is very secondary to the private area. The next step in your design is to very generally organise the outdoor living area to meet these needs. You do this much like you would determine how you will use rooms in your house. You'll probably find that there are very logical areas for where you keep the bins or site the vegetable garden, governed by convenience. And your private area may often be near the house, though it will also be influenced by how sheltered and sunny it is. Decide where any fixed items, like paths, sheds, greenhouses, compost bins, should go. To find out how well these ideas work in practice, try marking them out on the ground using temporary spray marker paint. It's very easy to move paths, etc. when they're as temporary as this. Mark any changes to your plan as you go on. The siting of different areas in your garden is really important, so try to get it right before you move on to the next step. During all this planning process, try to have a look at other people's gardens for inspiration. and be prepared to adjust your plans to accommodate fresh ideas. All of these stages are so necessary, so it's really important not to rush them. After all this preparatory work, your garden won't look any different. But I hope your head is just buzzing with ideas, as now you're just about ready for the really exciting bit, where you start to transform your patch of earth into a beautiful garden. But that will be the focus of my next videos. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.